What's going on YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Friday Vape Club. As always, your host, Squidly Triss, back for another review for you. How has everybody's week been? I hope you've had a really good time. So today we have got a little dual 18650 regulated device. This is the Luxe 2 from Vaporesso. It does come with the NRG-S tank on top. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little review on this thing. So stick around, watch this video. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Do not forget to smash that like button for me. And yeah, let's just get into it, eh? Okay, and here we have a closer look at that Luxe 2. So a couple of specs on this thing. From the base to the top, it is 145 millimeters. It is 47.8 millimeters wide, and it is 29.5 millimeters deep. It does come with the NRG-S tank. So if anyone has used the NRG-S tank, I think it came on maybe the Gen 2 kit. I think it was all part of that. So that's the standard. I'm not going to give a full rundown and go through details of this, but just some quick specs. It does take 8 mils capacity and it runs the GT mesh coils. It's a pretty standard sub-ohm tank. Top fill system. It's got the dual Cyclops airflow, and the coils are very decent coils. But this is kind of the star of the show. So let's break it down and take a quick look. Let's go over the Luxe 2 mod. So some other specs for this. It will do 5 all the way up to 220 watts. It does have a resistance range of 0.03 all the way up to 5 ohms. It does have the Axon chip, and the Axon chip has been upgraded. It does have a new user interface on here with the touchscreen. And speaking of that touchscreen, this is the screen here. It's a 2-inch color touch screen. Unfortunately, you have to unlock it and then see how the little lock symbol goes away, and now you can touch these buttons down here to get the wattage up and down, and you can also triple tap in here to go into the user face. It's got the pulse setting, it's got the eco setting, it's got this STC setting. You've got your DIY, and you do have your settings. So if you go to the DIY, this is where you can get your variable wattage, you can get variable voltage, you can get all sorts of stuff. But let's just exit out of that, and let's go quickly into the settings. So you can see you've got default, you've got themes, so you can change your color, your time sets, brightness, you can redo the puff counter, all sorts of cool stuff in here. So the user interface is actually quite user friendly, and I like that about it. But up the top here, you do have your battery level indicator, you've got the mode that you're in, you've got the time and date, your wattage is displayed quite nicely on the front there. It's got this kind of rev counter almost as the wattage increases and decreases. You do have your resistance, you've got your puffs, which are reset, your voltage, and your seconds vaped, and then the little lock. So when you see the little lock, you can't actually touch anything. It's cool, but it is frustrating, and then you need to unlock it 1, 2, 3. That disappears, and then 1, 2, 3 taps, and it goes into the menu system. That's kind of it. You do this really nice clicky fire button. Very nice fire button. It is situated very, very comfortably for the thumb. Underneath you've got some battery venting. Around this side there's nothing much. And on the back you've got a variety of panels that you can choose from. I actually really dig this. I like this design. It's almost like a resin pour painting. It looks really bloody cool. Down here you've got this little thumb insert. You can pop that open, and that exposes your battery housing. Battery housing is nice and clean. What sets this apart is the magnets. Magnets on this battery door. You've got 2 up here and this big beefy magnet down the bottom, and they hold this door in place very securely. There's a nice snap and it fits it nice and snugly. There is no movement at all, laterally or vertically. It's just on there. It is also seamless around the outside, so it kind of really integrates nicely into the actual aesthetics of the mod itself, and you would never tell that that was a battery door. It just looks awesome. So that's a real quick look around it. I'm not going to go too much into the tank. As I said, it's the NRG-S tank, pretty run of the mill. So let's take a look at the packaging, shall we? All right, this is the box that you get. You get a picture on the front, you get some features down the side, you get Vaporesso Luxe II. On the back, usual back-of-box bullshit, but that's not what we're here for. We want to see the bloody goodies. Inside this box, you do receive a Vaporesso user manual. You get the authenticity card. You get a warranty card. You get spare straight glass and some O-rings for the NRG tank. You do get the 0.15 dual mesh coil head. It also does come with the 0.18 mesh coil head. And you do get a USB charging cable. All right, that was a quick look around the Luxe 2 and the packaging by Vaporesso. Let's jump up to FaceTime and do the pros, cons, and the price. Okay, so there we had a quick look around this thing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it for a vape. It is running at 70 watts on the dial. Let's do this. And it works. You push the go button and it goes. Funny that. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the full pros and cons, like, you know, the massive juice capacity and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to touch on some kind of key pros that I found when using this thing. One is it looks absolutely gorgeous. It is a really, really good looking device. And with the aesthetics, it does have a very ergonomic form factor. So they've thought about that, and the hand placement. So it is a bit of a thumb trigger. So that way you can see the screen as opposed to kind of, you know, trigger firing it that way. So they have thought about that, and they have made this, this slight little whooshy kind of back panel. I don't know what other way to say it other than it's whooshy, kind of out and in and out and in anyway. But yeah, it fits into the hand very, very comfortably. And the other thing I really like about this is the user interface. It is also a con, so I will point that out as well, but the user interface is actually quite good. I do like this screen. I like how simple it is to see what you are going to. Yeah, it is very, very good. So they were kind of like the big hitters, the things that I really noticed, the things that I really, really liked about this. There are other pros to this, obviously, with the big liquid capacity being dual 18650, and you know, the touch screen and stuff like that. But I'm not really going to focus too much on those things. I'm just going to tell you what I really, really liked. So let's talk about the cons for this thing. There's two cons for this thing. One is there is a real high-pitched whistle when you vape it. Let's see if you can hear the whistle. So it does have a very high-pitched whistle, and it is not the quietest tank. And that was a bit of a con for me. And the other con, and it's not a con, it's just an annoyance. Every time you want to change something on this, you have to touch it 3 times, click the fire button, and then 3 times in here. So in order to get to the menu system, I have to do 6 clicks before I can get there. That just frustrated me more than anything. Every time I wanted to change the wattage, I had to triple click, and then to get into the menu, if I wanted to try any of the menus out, it's a triple click and then another triple click. And that just became time consuming and frustrating. And as much as I really loved the touchscreen, it just became too much of a hassle for me. They were the 2 real big hitters that I just found very highly annoying and frustrating with this device. But let's talk about the price, shall we? Price. So what is the Vaporesso Luxe 2 going to set you back? A little bit of Google foo around the internet, and I found it on sale in the States for 80 bucks, and here in Australia varying anywhere from $110 to $120, depending on which shop you looked at and what sort of sales that you could get. So that's, you know, for a dual 18650 regulated device with a touchscreen like this and with a decent sub-ohm tank, that's round about what you would expect to pay. Now, if I had to give this thing a rating out of best device ever, worst device ever, with nothing in between, just best or worst, I found this really, really difficult to rate. In fact, I'm just gonna say this now, I think it's the worst device ever, and that's not because there's anything wrong with it. So don't think that me giving it the worst device ever means that there is a flaw that is completely wrong with this thing. I just didn't fall in love with this device. I don't know why, I just didn't like using it. There's nothing wrong with it. The ergonomic form factor is great. The touchscreen works really well. The updated UAI works really well. The flavor is on point. The whistle and, you know, all that sort of stuff just gave me a little bit of issue, but I just didn't love it. I don't know what it is about it. It's a good looking, well made, and it works. It's just a kind of run of the mill, standard, dual 18650 regulated device with a sub-ohm tank, and I didn't love it. And that to me speaks to whether I can give something the best device ever or the worst device ever. If I don't love it, then I'm not gonna buy it. I would recommend it if you're after something like this, and if you've used the Luxe, the original Luxe, I'm sure people are gonna buy the Luxe too. I actually think that the Vaporesso Gen is a better device because it just suits me and not necessarily means it's gonna suit you. So take my rating with a grain of salt. If you like the look of it and you wanna give the touchscreen a try, then buy it. For some reason, I just didn't fall in love with this device. And that's kind of sad. And I guess at the end of the day, that's the truth of the matter. There's nothing special about it. So that's kind of it. That's all I've got for you guys today. I really hope you enjoy it. Like always, please like, please share, please subscribe. Remember YouTube, keep it cloudy.
A Gotta Slut production.